Hello, I'm John Proxy on channel John of the West, and I'm about to begin a Torment Tides of Numenera adventure. Now, this is an RPG. If you don't know, it's a sort of isometric top-down RPG, which aren't too popular nowadays. But I'm a huge fan of them. I've been meaning to play Pillars of Eternity, and there's a couple more. But I completely missed this was on Kickstarter, so I was really late going in, going, oh wow, because I played the original Torment, this is a spiritual successor of Planescape Torment. That's the one. But I watched the videos, the hype videos, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I've been meaning to play one of those, especially since recently a lot of RPGs I've just felt haven't had what I liked in RPGs, especially Fallout. I forced myself to play Fallout 4 because I was like, everyone loves Fallout and I don't quite see what everyone sees, and I played about 15 hours and I went, I don't get it. It's not, I liked Fallout 1 and 2, they're not the same. Anyway, let's stop talking about other games. Let us begin. Yesterday, when the game was still in launch mode, I had a quick look in to see if I'd noticed a difference, and yes, version 1.0.1. So I've seen a little bit of the start, although I'm skipping all the dialogue because I didn't want to, ruin anything for myself. But look, loading screens. That's in all games. But spend XP to advance your character's XP is gained mostly from solving quests. I will be male.
In darkness.
Sound up.
Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
Ooh. Those insistent hands. Get off! You're so insistent.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Right. Should I look around or should I look at this body? I feel like... No, I'm going to look at what I am.
The body is... Wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this?
I do know the plot, not the plot summary, but a bit of the background, because they show it in the videos. Like in the hut. That's why I know about this game, because I was reminded with that kind of, here's the Torment thing. Yes.
Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Right. I love... I'm gonna judge how far it is to the ground. Look at the horizon, flatten out to catch the wind. Dive towards that. Just go towards. I'm going to judge how far it is to the ground.
Guess that you started at least 100 kilometers above the ground. Assuming you fell from a dying moon, that is. You've been blacked out for some time though, and now it looks like you're perhaps 50 kilometers up. Maybe less.
Right. My knowledge of wrestling tells me that you fall with your arms out like that, flat. That's the safest way to fall. If it's good enough for Jeff Hardy, it's good enough for me. Let's try lying flat, stabilize the fall.
Spread your arms and legs, and they respond smoothly. A strange sensation. Since you realize this body is new to you, the spinning and tumbling stops. The wind still howls past your new ears, a vast roar that deadens a part of your infant mind. Water springs unbidden to your eyes, the tears torn away by the wind. Through the haze of moisture, it is difficult to see, but if you focus your attention, you may be able to make out the details of the world.
This is bloody wonderful already. I love it. Yeah, I really like this. I don't think I'm going to be able to remember what happened for a while. If you're wondering why there's a black line above me, that's literally two sofa cushions. I'm too lazy to properly set up my green screen because it's just a lot, and every time I go to the kitchen, like I've got to go. Whereas I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna, because I can't have green screen because of the way I'm recording. I'll just run around my house going, do I own a large piece of card? There must be something I can do. And so I spent half an hour bloody setting up, finding a new webcam, because this, the sound's probably stopped. This is called like Buru Cam. I'd like looking for the internet for a webcam software that I'm not recording because I'm recording the entire screen, so it doesn't use up valuable resources. One that doesn't have any stupid real estate on the screen covering me up, and most importantly, because I had a webcam that did both of those, one that I could crop the sides, because I just had the cushions don't cover the entire breadth of the screen. And yeah, being able to crop means that I'm closer to the screen. It's brilliant. That actually solves loads of my problems. Sorry, it's got nothing to do with the game. I just don't like how to explain that straight away. I am going to focus and look at the world.
Now that you can focus on it, you see that the large mass is clearly a gargantuan megacontinent.
Ooh.
The only land of any size on this side of the world, at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot its enormity, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down across its surface. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further north and east lies a broad plain, scattered with curious structures visible even from this height. The northeastern part of your vision is a perfectly circular desert, a blue dot containing a watery city in its exact center. To the west lies a ring of mountains, surmounted by enormous carven peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the ground. It's coming at you fast. Directly below you is a littered bay.
Right. Turn the sound down. I'd like his voice to be louder than the wind. Right. At this speed and at that height, hitting the water is not going to make much difference from hitting the ground. It will still break every single bone in my body. I'm going to look at the bay. I don't think it really makes much difference where I am. So let's look at the bay.
Headed directly for a bright domed structure. It appears to have been carved from huge crystals, and it's connected via makeshift bridges and other artifacts in flotsam, and thence to the shoreline. Two people stand just outside the dome. One of them, strangely blurred, looks up at you and points, her other hands grasping at the sleeve of her companion. He extends his right arm toward you, and a tangle of jagged lines and multicolored is in his hand enfolding you. Your speed slows tremendously, but it is not enough. You strike the crystalline structure with a massive crunch, pain exploding through your body, even as you hear the squeal of a sudden energy surge from the underside of the building. And then... darkness.
Darkness. Maybe that's what I should call episode 1. I don't know if I want these half an hour long. I feel like it's quite dense with all this writing. There I am. And it's sort of... because I've seen a bit of this and I ran around this yesterday and then I turned it off. I was just like, okay, cool, works. But like the one thing that struck me as interesting is I can zoom. It's 3D, yeah. And it's just sort of weird for an isometric game to be 3D. I'm just... that's how my brain... that's how long ago I've played isometric games. So I can walk around this. Let's stay zoomed in. These hexagons. Ooh, there's a bowl. I'll tell you what, I have interacted with this bowl. But I was clicking really fast. So, jumbled thoughts. I might want to be closer. I'll adjust that in a second. I've got a mouse pad. My friend bought me one for my birthday. But a kind of silly one. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. I can see that right there. And I'm not covering up anything right there, so that's good. I might adjust where my face is. I might try and make this window slightly smaller as well. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be getting in the way of anything. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow. No. Oh, there we go. As if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. So, apparently I can use some might to carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid, which is probably a good idea. I can examine the bowl, or I can leave the bowl alone. I feel like leaving the bowl alone is pretty stupid, so let's examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Yes. I've got it set to automatically reduce game sound. I'm not sure if I want to do that, because it sounds quite subtle at the moment. So I'm just off, actually. So now the volume of the game, if it ever gets loud, well, I'll see what happens. I'm curious about all this stuff. So I'm the last cast off. I've got 20 health, 5 might, 5 speed, 5 intellect, and no XP. So that's my might, my speed, and my intellect. I don't know if that's XP or money, and I don't know what that means. It's items, ciphers, consumables, and abilities granted by equipped items, and character abilities, which I can't click on. Active abilities granted by the character's type or... Examine the bowl again. That's fine. We have to use might. So, you've encountered your first task. You have 3 stat balls, might, speed, and intellect, that you can spend to increase your chances of success. This is called using effort. I'm going to keep the tutorials on. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use my mouse to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. So, I can spend a certain amount of might. So this is using no might. This is using 2 might. And it gives me a 100% chance. What is that? So the base difficulty is 45%. I have thoroughly investigated the bowl. That gives me a plus 15% chance. That's cool. So it gave me a bonus. So I can make it 100%. But what if I wanted 80%? I'm going to go for that. And I'm going to press continue. Yes! Didn't waste any might for that. Success! You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Wonderful! There it goes. Yeah, not just Pillars of Eternity. I've been meaning to play Wasteland 2 as well, because I enjoyed all that. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples, spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. Let's continue. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You're not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello! Are you still alive down there? We're up here. Build a path up to us. And be careful. I'm going to have to read that faster, aren't I? There's a path. So, there I am. Zoom in a little. There we go. So, we have my inventory. It's probably going to make me do this later, but see, I'm covering up the screen. I can just move that off while I do stuff. So your inventory lets you view, equip, and manage items, equipment you find. It has a number of sections. The first is equipment, which contains any items equipped to the current character. Equipment includes melee and ranged weapons, shields, armor, ornaments, such as rings and amulets, and bonded items. Your backpack contains the items being carried by the current character. You can equip, inspect, and transfer items from it. Quest items contain any special items required for quests. Quest items cannot be discarded or sold, so you won't need to worry about accidentally losing one. The final section shows the ciphers you are carrying and your cipher limit. Ciphers shown in the inner rings are highlighted in blue and are safe to carry. Those on the outer ring, highlighted in orange, are over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you are carrying them. You can use, sell, discard, or transfer them to another party member to get back under your cipher limit. Let's continue. So, my cipher limit is currently... Oh, let's move my face. 202. A character's cipher limit determines the number of ciphers they can safely carry. I think that's going to say pretty much the same. I'm just going to leave that for the time being. Mainly because... I might be standing in a slightly different position. That's because... as I was reading that, the recording software crashed for some reason. I don't know, it just did a thing. And then I went over to fix it, and then the game crashed. So I had to quickly click all the same buttons again, and I saved my game this time, which I'm going to do now. In fact, let's just save it on top of it. But after that, I will not be saving on top of it. I don't know if autosave exists. But after that, I recorded another 15 minutes, and then I found out that my recording software, when I turned it back on, turned the mic off, so I was just going for bloody 15 minutes. So I've seen the next 15 minutes. I don't actually remember if I interacted with this originally, so I'm just gonna have a look at it. So no, I didn't. That's cool. The rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. I can overturn the bowl. Why would I want to overturn the bowl? Do I want to? Let's leave the bowl alone. I'm really tempted to overturn the bowl. Let's overturn the bowl. When you touch it, you feel a strange tightness in your head, and soon discover the bowl is far too heavy to move now. Even the attempt makes your arms ache and temples throb. Alright, now I'll leave the thing alone. There we go. So, yes, there's a ball of light over there. Let's zoom in for the time being until I have reasons to that. We have a bit of a memory. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. So you're going back into our memories. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before. You've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure that's been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention. But that's hardly your concern. The mission cannot be delayed, it must proceed. So yes, we're in his memory right now, but I'm assuming the choices I make inform stats. So I can deceive him by telling him that you've heard sounds of pursuit. I can threaten him until he returns to the task at hand, or this is taking too long. Cast a spell, an ashtray, and fix the device yourself. That's the one I went for last time. I didn't like the idea of shouting at my friend or deceiving my friend, and sort of the idea of going, boop, boop, it's fixed. It's kind of nice, so I'm doing that. So you mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you, until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and show it back to him. "Ho," he says, examining your work. "Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing." He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above the pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a set moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. So I can run, I can come back for it. They won't be able to protect it forever. I can disable the sonar pulse, or I can use a device to stop them. One of the ciphers in your belt. That's interesting. I actually selected disable the sonar pulse. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled force field, almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around, and you see only the inky blackness of a piscine eye. I think it's piscine, or it's piscine, you know, like a fish eye. The memory begins to fade. Sorry, that's not like that lyric. I was trying to invoke Metallica there. The memory begins to fade, as if you are drawn backwards through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into the gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air is pulling at you like a predator, inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Okay. I'm actually going to tell it to automatically. Don't remember if I said that last time. But sometimes I go quiet as I'm talking, and I don't want the game to be louder than me, so let's have a look over. And there we go. I wanted the screen to move. Let's examine this. It's a mirror. The mirror looks strange, as though what you see in it is real, and you're the reflection. The light around the door's frame dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen in place. So I screwed up several times there. There's the golden orb. I'm just going to look at this door. Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, to no avail. I am going to save a new game. Interact with this. So, new memory. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built to the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defence. A metallic disc gleams from the centre of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machine drills into the base of the cliff below. If you're looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know what this is, says the woman in her voice flat and neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the others we've found? So we can draw her attention to the hidden details of your more experienced eye that can clearly see. You can use the charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and to remind her of the time constraints. Or I can convince her with the wisdom of my superior intellect, and I'll pick what I did before, which is to, I just go, no, brother! Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point to the thin bands radiating from the metallic disc. How the energy from those bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. Is it geologically sound? Have you run this sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary. Drawing schematics and architectural diagrams, then you descend into the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try and draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise... What? Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? So, I can use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behaviour malfunction, which is what I chose before. Examine the construct for mechanical faults, or look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's the effect of the metallic disc itself. So again, I kind of like the idea. I can either try and mechanically say, what's this going to get me? Well, I want more strength. I'm going to do the strengthy things. But I'm sort of doing more roleplay stuff. And I do like the idea of just going, I'm just going to, it's solved, okay. So I'm doing that. And let's hope it doesn't screw me up too much. A mist falls onto the plateau as you activate the time-scarred artifacts fastened to the construct's behavioural core with sub-vocalised command. With an abrupt clack and a pulse of pleasant warmth, the device purges the error, and 7 copper-banded spheres drop out of evenly spaced rifts in the air. Ignoring this common side effect, you give new orders to the malfunctioning construct in a firm, clear voice. Acknowledged, it obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades. You feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you're doing and is hunting you. So there we go. The room has shifted again. Very impressive. And I have a new source of light. I'm going to save my game again. It's quick, so... A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city in flames and under attack. The defenders of Fathom died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. You have fought the keen-eyed companion. No, I haven't. You have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety. And you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other slim, sheathed in glassy armour, holding a hilt with a sizzling, invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. So you can trade blows with the giant. I can handle it for at least a strike or 2. I can duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike, which is what I did before. Or I can fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. See, actually, I know the next line, but I'm going to choose what I did before, which is duck under the giant's swing. So you roll under the blowing arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are. And when he raises the great axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade beneath his breastplate. The blade emerges from the back of his neck, and his life's blood washes over your hand. He falls, taking your weapon with him, and his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses, destroyed. Her return swing cuts through your armour, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this. She just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls back from another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops, screaming, to the ground 50 meters below. I survived a fall like that. I'm pretty sure you can as well. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. I'm just going to take a sip of tea. And this is about where I got to. Just about. I made a choice, and I think that's where I got to before I realised, oh, I'm not recording commentary. So I can hurl myself against the door and knock them to the ground. I can crack the door open and sneak past them. Or I can charge through them, counting on your defences to protect you. I actually kind of like the idea of that third one, but I did sneak past them last time, so I'm going to again. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open. Your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeeze yourself against the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. So this is all new now, thankfully. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with a racing force of your heartbeat. The reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. The tremors rock the floor, well, it looks like floors actually, beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. There we go. And I guess I'm ready to let you go. Let's interact with this mirror. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate, I don't know why I was facing my arm. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made. Shining like distant stars, your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room. A slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. This is really interesting. Point at the doppelganger moving cautiously through the crowd. Point at the doppelganger slipping gracefully through the mob. Point at the intelligent doppelganger with a furrowed brow. Point at the doppelganger observing all the others. I like that one. They're all good because I like the idea of being intelligent. I was like, Mom, these all guys are idiots. Actually, they all kind of seem cool, but I like the idea that one of them is looking at the others. Or is that just my reflection? Sliding through the edge of the unruly crowd, the doppelganger cautions you to silence with a finger at its lips. Together you scan the room and its inhabitants, noting every potential hazard and hearing every drip of strange liquid in the depths beneath your feet. Quietly, the doppelganger waits for your decision. I want to consider the other choices because. So move at the doppelganger, moving cautiously through the crowd. Falling into a wary, well-balanced crouch, the doppelganger creeps towards you, scanning its surroundings with suspicious eyes. Each movement it makes is slow, subtle, and deliberate. That's the cautious one. He's the graceful one. The doppelganger darts from the crowd and leans out of the mirror, gently pokes your nose. When you try to do the same, it definitely leans out your reach, laughing. That's cool. I like that one. It chuckles, waiting for your decision. So I like that one. That's a little Joker one. Go, ooh, ha ha. Cautious, graceful, intelligent, or observant. That's it. The doppelganger holds itself erect among the pressing crowd. It meets your eyes with a confident gaze, triggering familiar memories in the back of your mind. When you return from your contemplation, the doppelganger is waiting for your decision. Cautious, graceful, intelligent, observant. I feel cautious, but I'm going for observant because that's how I felt. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forwards. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. I hope I clicked the right one. I'm pretty sure I did. And confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer around it. Technology of similar kinds. From a myriad of past ages, you get the feeling you, would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds... Oh yeah, I got observant. The word nano sounds in your mind. Nano. Yeah, that's more comedy, isn't it? So I'm observant. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out in a cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly a grotesque noise rings through your shared world, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. I restored one might pool. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. I think that's a good time for me to... I'm going to press continue. Yeah. That's a good time for me to take a break. So I'm going to say I've been John Fox and John West. I've been having a Torment Tides of Numenera adventure. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thank you very much.